Good day to you, one and all. It is I, Justin Hawkins, and this is Justin Hawkins Rides Again. And today I'm talking about this trolling incident that's occurred between Joe Bonamassa and one of his alleged enthusiasts. I find it really, really interesting because it speaks to things like male vanity and reminds me of a lot of wider concepts about social media itself, the relationship with your audience, the cultural differences that you can expect from different regions of the world, the way people are all different, but also it makes me think about masculinity, sports, music, what it means to be in the public. It's huge. It seems like a fairly amusing kind of exchange, which is easy to laugh off, but there's a lot going on here, and I'm desperate to break it down for you. Justin Hawkins rides again. Last week, Joe Bonamassa, I'm going to hold the microphone because I think it's important to do that on this one. Last week, Joe Bonamassa made the headlines when he announced that he'd be leaving social media after a particularly unpleasant interaction with one of his fans online. For those who don't know, Joe Bonamassa is an American blues rock guitarist, singer and songwriter. He's played alongside many notable blues and rock artists and has earned 3 Grammy Award nominations. The now deleted Instagram comment that made Joe flip apparently took a jab at the musician's receding hairline, as the user Rich Tones wrote, "Time to shave the head, Joe. It's over. Your hair had a good run, but it's now in retirement." And then Joe Bonamassa, he said, "How about this, Rich? You do you and let me do me. We understand each other?" I mean, that's fair enough, actually. And Liam Crimmins said, "Joe's rocking the power donut, bro." And then in reaction to Liam Crimmins, Joe Bonamassa said, "I'm about to rock a sold-out show in Tucson. What are you up to this evening?" So this led to a reaction from Swedish guitarist Ola Englund. He shared his thoughts on Bonamassa's decision to quit social media and said how the particular way in which he responded to an online hate comment was definitely sad. The first thing to say about this is I love anything that pricks male vanity. On the other side of that, it is a completely unsolicited comment about somebody's appearance when Joe Bonamassa has built up a reputation as being like a really tasty blues guitarist primarily. But he's a guitar man, you know. It's got nothing to do with his hair, is it? He's not on X Factor trying to impress people with his dancing and his luscious, active follicles. He's a blues man, and I always think that too many people shave their heads when they start to go that way, you know. Let's have a look at the history of baldness in rock and music, and in fact in public figures, really. I remember in the 80s, nobody would have come out to have a pop at Mark Knopfler, who was an extraordinarily tasteful lead guitarist. And then when he started to go to recede, not a lot of people noticed because he distracted them with a thin headband. Not like the Bret Michaels headband that expands at the same rate as the hair recedes, but one just designed to sort of showcase the receding parts, because he still had an island of hair at the front, 2 widow's peaks here that were fully exposed and just being held down almost by the headband itself. And he was widely regarded to be one of the greatest guitar players, perhaps of all time. So I think Joe Bonamassa's right to grow his hair. Don't shave it. It's hair, and you're a blues rock guitarist. You need the hair. I think the phenomenon of baldness is occurring less and less. According to this extensive research that I'm very grateful to my producer for, some years ago, there were some men who took part in a medical trial, and it was to study a drug that was designed to inhibit the production of testosterone, thus, in theory, reducing a swollen prostate. So these people that took part in the trial, they were in their 40s, 50s, maybe they were a little bit older even, and some of them noticed that their hair was growing back. So as a side effect of stopping testosterone production, male pattern baldness was in many cases reversed. So what they did was they reduced the dosage of this trial drug to 1 milligram a day, for example. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. And then from that point forward, nobody in Hollywood, nobody in the world of sports, nobody goes bald anymore. I mean, it probably used to be, I would say, between 50 and 75% of male celebrities across all media would be exhibiting male pattern baldness. And it's called male pattern baldness because it's caused by testosterone. So these people are all taking that tablet. Joe Bonamassa isn't. And nor am I. I'm lucky with that stuff, I think sometimes if you just pray and eat a lot of cauliflower, you're all right. But I think Joe Bonamassa is your man's man, and he's demonstrating that. I think keep the hair. But again, that's a completely unsolicited remark that I have no right to make, really. People feel obliged, and in fact justified in ploughing into conversations about appearance, and that's just the nature of social media in general. So I think if that's affecting Joe's ability to perform, then yeah, he shouldn't be on social media. So Joe subsequently announced that he'll be leaving social media after the spat, and these are some of his quotes. So after sleeping on this, I have come to a conclusion. Last night I allowed a few clowns, and then he tagged Rich Tones, who was the initial antagonist, being one of them, to cause me to go on stage angry. Oh, to go on stage. I thought he meant on stage angry. It's this new level of angry. No, but he meant to go on stage angry. And that's not fair to you, the fans. So I'm leaving this wonderful place to the influencers and good looking. Enjoy it before it destroys your soul. This is great. Any posts on this page going forward will not be from me. Thanks for the 8 years. I think that's a really smart move. Speaking of smart moves, Joe Bonamassa's music, by the way, is for a discerning audience. It's for people who are enthusiastic about blues rock. And I think that audience is generally a bit more mature. So to allow himself to be drawn into the melee of this childish spattery and all that stuff, it probably isn't befitting for somebody with his talents and his audience, really. So I think he's doing the right thing. Anyway, that Swedish guitar player, what's his name again? Ola Englund, he went on noting how Joe simply shouldn't have taken the bait. The problem was that he took the bait. He shouldn't have responded at all to this guy, and he responded in a very non-classy way. And also, he puts a little shade on social media people with his posts, saying that we are destroying our lives. That's up to you, man. If you can't handle social media, you shouldn't do social media. I don't know. I think it's interesting to try and put this back on Joe. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a preposterous walk of life. This job that professional musicians do, it's not normal. You are subject to a different kind of scrutiny. And when it sort of comes around to talking about like signs of aging, I suppose just taking the piss out of somebody for getting old, when in fact their music is all about that maturity. I don't know. This is the other thing I was going to say about that tablet that everybody else uses except for myself and Joe Bonamassa. When you take that, you'd imagine there might be some sort of side effect. Do you know Arsene Wenger? It's relevant to talk about this, firstly because of the World Cup. So I always think about soccer players, football players. In the 80s, you'd see like a team like Bulgaria turn up at one of the major tournaments. Half of the team, long hair at the sides, bald patches on the top. Zinedine Zidane, one of the greatest and most intense football players that France ever produced, massive bald patch, and it really made him stand out. You don't see that very often. In fact, you hardly ever see it at all. And Arsene Wenger, the former manager of Arsenal Football Club, he used to say that all of the players are using this tablet, which is inhibiting the production of testosterone, and which could result in less intensity, a less intense sportsman somehow. I always think testosterone, it's a performance-enhancing drug, especially for sports folk. You need it in your system. So in a way, male vanity is impacting traditional masculinity, isn't it? It's making people less manly because they're worried about losing their hair. Losing your hair, that's just part of being a man. I'm sorry to say it, guys, but that's how it is. I think Joe Bonamassa is an amazing artist. I've had the privilege of working with his producer, Kevin Shirley, once, and I've talked to him about Joe Bonamassa. And he was saying that when he took on that gig, it was a labour of love for him because he loved the music, and you know, it wasn't about the money. And the way that his material performed completely exceeded all of their expectations, and it's just because he's a legit blues rock artist who doesn't need to be concerning himself with things like male vanity, social media spats. I mean, let's face it, if you're a real blues man, you've got fire in your belly, you've got anger in your loins. So bluesmen like myself and Joe need to stick together. Don't take the tablets, don't listen to the haters, don't take part in any of these childish spats. Just be the blues man that you were born to be. Nice one, Joe. Lots of love to you. I hope you're watching this, and I hope you appreciate the sentiment that I meant it in. And nice one, guys. Justin Hawkins rides again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, watch one of these 2 videos, and yeah, listen to Joe Bonamassa. He's the real deal. Cheers, guys. See you on the ice.